So welcome to this 30-minute practice today, where we're going to do the Pavanmuktasana series, as well as a breathing practice towards the end. So Pavanmuktasana series, Pavanmuktasana literally means wind liberating series. So we're talking about with the wind, this is Vata, which is one of the doshas. It's about releasing dryness, creakiness in the joints, and it goes systematically through the body, releasing all of the joints. It's a traditional Hatha yoga practice, originally designed to prepare the body for the stronger yoga postures. But it can be done as a standalone practice. It can be done to prepare you at the beginning of the day, as a break in the day. Also a really nice way of just releasing tension in the body at the end of the day. So really looking forward to sharing this with you. It is a seated sequence, so if you want to have a little bit of height, a folded blanket, if you do have a cushion, pillow or bolster that you'd like to sit on for the seated breathing practice at the end, that might be nice too. So if you want to join me lighting a candle for just to mark the beginning of this practice, and please do that, just that moment of gratitude for this time for yourself, for the rich teachings in these practices. And then let's find our base position. So the base position in the Pavanmuktasana series is with the legs extended and the arms just comfortably back behind you. Now, being a traditional practice, there's certain ways it's taught, but I'm going to give a few options along the way, and please just feel free to do what's best for your body as well. So rather than being seated up in a sort of really tall staff pose, let's just take the hands behind. It's more kind of like you're hanging out. So this base position is an open circuit of energy. You're just using this base pose just to center yourself for the practice. You may or may not like to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just feel the body, feel the breath in the body. Maybe even noticing your energy levels today at this moment. We can imagine that the breath in this position comes through the feet, all the way up the body to the crown of the head on the inhale. And on the exhale, it moves from the crown of the head all the way down to the feet. So we're starting to feel how the body receives the breath, the prana rides on the breath. Maybe just one more breath like that. And then if you'd like, you can open the eyes or flutter them open. So we're going to start with the toes. So if you're comfortable in this base position, you can stay here. If at any point you need to come up and release the wrists, then please feel free to do that. So starting with the toes, we're simply drawing the toes back towards us, keeping the ankles relaxed for this. We'll get to those in a moment. And exhale, scrunch the toes. Inhale, stretch. We'll do about 6 of each. Exhale, scrunching the toes over. And you just go as strongly or as softly as you feel like today. Inhale, stretch and spread the toes. Exhale, scrunching. Let's do a couple more with your breath. And just one more time. Lifting, spreading, stretching the toes. Exhale, scrunching them, and you might like to give the toes a bit of a wriggle. And then just relaxing them down. Let's get into the feet and ankles. Inhale, drawing, flexing the feet, drawing the toes back towards you. And then exhale, pointing the feet, feeling the tops of the feet and ankles stretching. Let's do that about 5 more times. Inhale, stretching the toes back towards you. And exhale, stretching the ankles and feet. If you like, going with the breath and your pace, Inhale, flex. Exhale, point. Really just noticing how this part of the body feels today. You can notice any little cracks and pops in the joints. We don't want to force the joints at all in the practice. It's really just about keeping healthy circulation and range of movement. Let's just do one more. Pointing, and then relax the feet. Let's come up. Let's give the wrists a little rest. Just take the backs of the hands onto the floor. Just let the chin drop and just take a moment to pause. And just notice how the feet and ankles feel. It can be very subtle. How do they feel compared to the rest of the body? And then let's come back up, and if your wrists are okay, we'll go back here. And just for one more pose we'll be doing in this base position. This gets a little bit more into the hips as well as the feet. So we're going to roll the legs out from the hips, away from each other, toes pointing away from each other, and then cross the feet, one foot on top of the other, and you can kind of press them into each other. So the inhale, rolling the legs out, external rotation at the hip joint, and then exhale, can you bring the other foot on top and a little squeeze of them in? Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, opening the toes and legs and hips. Exhaling, cross, so alternating which foot comes on top. Inhale, open. Exhale, cross. Press them into each other if you feel like it. One more time. Crossing. And last time, inhale, open. Exhale, crossing. And you can just give the feet, legs a bit of a jiggle. Sometimes it's nice to jiggle and sometimes it's just nice to pause and notice. So we're going to get into sort of the hips and the legs a little bit more. Now for this next one, if you like, you can take the right ankle above the left knee, because we're going to be working with cranking the ankle. It's a strong word, cranking, but that's what it's called in the series. If that's best for you, or if you want to, you can loop your right arm around the right lower leg. You want the arm to be quite relaxed. And if we can for this one, we'll start working with a slightly more upright posture. So whether you're choosing this position or down here, do what's best for your hip. So then we're going to interlace. We've done this sort of thing before. It's always fun. Interlacing the fingers between the toes and just start some circles. Just let the breath be nice and relaxed for this. Just keep that right arm so it's not doing too much work. Really the legs just resting in the arm. Feeling some movement in the toes, between the toes and in the ankle. And then let's reverse the direction. So you can see we're giving our feet and ankles a bit of attention here, which is a really nice thing to do. Couple more times. And then just relax that foot down. Just keep the right knee bent. We're going to work with the right side a little bit more, but just take a resting breath. Just to let that absorb, to settle in the body. And then we're going to interlace the fingers behind the right thigh. We're going to inhale, bring that right foot off of the mat, spine long, shoulders relaxed. And then exhale, press that right foot away. Now if that feels a bit too hunchy on the shoulders, you can take a strap and do it that way. Still do the same movement, but using the strap like a bit of an arm extender. Let's do it about 4 more times. Inhale, sitting up tall, knee to chest. Exhale, push the foot away. And you can make it just as big or as small as works for you. And you might see that some of these start to tune us into the core a little bit. So just a little bit of tone there can sometimes be helpful. Exhaling, pushing that foot away. One more time. Pushing that foot away. And just relax the leg down. Take a moment. We're going to work with that right leg again for one more little movement. So again, interlacing the fingers behind the right thigh. Now for this one, please just do what's right for you and the leg doesn't have to straighten. So the inhale, the knee comes into the chest. Exhale, we extend the leg. And then slowly lowering, this is where the core can come in. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, coming into the chest. Exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, exhale, lower. Couple more times. Inhale in, you can feel how the core muscles start to get challenged. Exhale, extend. Inhaling, exhale. One more time. Let's do it one more time. Feels like that would be 6. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And let's rest back in the base position, letting that right leg relax and a moment to notice the difference between the right side and the left side. And then we're going to try those movements on the other side, starting with the fingers between the toes. So if you preferred that position with the ankle above the knee, you could go into that. Or if you liked cradling the lower leg in the arm, you can play with that. And sometimes we're different on one side to the other, so we just accommodate for that. Threading the fingers through the toes, just to what you can do. The toes don't always cooperate. You can see how we're trying to keep that healthy width between the toes. And just start to gently, we just really want to let the body guide the movement to make sure that we're doing just enough. We'll probably hopefully come back to this series time and time again to keep the joints healthy. Also, another name for the series is the anti-arthritic series. So it is a really, really great one for just keeping the joints limber and lubricated. Let's reverse the direction of the ankle circles. Couple more circles there. And just let that leg come down. Taking a moment. It's a simple practice, but it's quite a powerful practice, particularly when you start to sort of accumulate the power of it. Let's start to interlace the fingers around the left thigh now. So now we're working with a more upright spine. Inhaling and then exhale as if you're pushing a heavy metal jaw closed. Inhale, spine long, knee to chest. Exhale, pushing away. 4 more times. With your breath, go at a rhythm, do the size of movement that is right for your body, depending on the day, depending on the time of day, the season, phase in your life. And one more. Just let the leg come down just to relax. Sometimes the hip flexors can do a lot of the work, so sometimes it's nice just to release, at least let's send some messages of relaxation down there. So then we're going to do the last part of this series where we're inhaling, exhale, extend the leg, slowly lower, inhale, exhale. You can tone the core a little bit. Inhaling, spine long. Exhale, shoulders relaxed. Inhaling, exhale. A couple more times. Please be really careful on the joints of what's right for you. You might end up doing a couple less or making them a bit smaller. Let's do one more. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Let's perhaps just in our pause this time, just to give the wrists a rest. Backs of the hands to the floor, chin to the chest, neck relaxed, face relaxed. Breathing here. How do the feet, ankles, knees, legs feel? And then slowly coming up to sit. So for this next one, we're going to be starting to get into the hips. I'm just going to face this way. And I'm going to give a couple of options because hips and knees and things, we really want to take care of them. So one thing that I think would be really helpful is, let's take the left leg out to the side and the right knee is going to be the bent knee. We're going to be doing a little movement where we're pushing, getting the hip very relaxed and pushing the knee and letting it bounce up and down. You can see here I've put a really big support under there. You could put a pillow, a couple of pillows, a bolster. If your knee touches the ground very easily and that feels fine on the joints, you could do it like that. If your knee is way up high and you don't have any support, or that's just too much, you can do it simply dropping the foot into the hands and the hands kind of bounce the knee up. Now the other part of the piece of this is we're going to do it 54 times. And so we're starting to use our attention networks now in the counting. So hopefully there's an option there that you're comfortable with. Just let the breath go 54 times. You're counting them. And just relaxing that when you're ready. Maybe taking the soles of the feet together just to feel the little opening for the hips. Noticing how the right leg feels to the left. Such a simple movement, but does the right leg feel warmer? Let's take the right leg out to the side and now we'll do that on the left. You can see that you need to be very mindful of doing just enough and really caring for the joints, but doing things like props or doing a little variation are a great idea. So if you can, counting your 54 for you, relaxing the face and jaw. Bring the soles of the feet back together. Just take a breath now to notice both hips, both knees. Just feel the prana circulating, warming. We're going to come to a cross leg position. So now we're going to be moving up into the back and the upper body part of the series. If you want to sit on a bit more height, if you kind of feel like sitting, you'd like a bit more support, you could also do all of these seated in a chair as well. So let's take the arms up about shoulder height with the elbows soft. So let's start to work into the hands and wrists. So we're going to stretch the fingers away from each other, fingertips to the ceiling, and then exhale, thumb comes in and a little fist. And it's up to you how much you grip the fists. So the inhale, spread the fingers move back towards you. Exhale, thumbs in, fist. Let's do about 3 more times slowly. And traditionally, some of these things are done a lot faster, a lot more vigorous. But I kind of like to keep that feeling of calm while I'm doing these and really being aware of how the joints feel. And if you want to, start to take it a bit faster. Just let the breath flow naturally. You don't have to speed up the breath unless that's part of your practice already. Stretching, getting a little bit faster. Just keeping that agility in the movement. Faster again, and then as fast as you can. Opening and closing. And let the hands come down. The shoulders relax. Spine long. Receiving the breath up the spine. Exhaling it down. So the next one, we're going to stretch now with the palms out, open and away from you. Stretch the fingers down. And then let's take the thumbs on the outside this time. Take a fist and squeeze in. Now, traditionally they teach squeeze until you tremble. So there's a bit of a contraction of the muscles. Chin comes in. That's the exhale. Inhale, stretch the fingers away. Exhale, make a fist. Squeeze hands back to shoulders. 4 more times. One more. Squeezing. And then keeping the hands under the shoulders, let's start to circle the elbows back, down, and round the spine. Tuck the chin. 5 more times. Elbows up, chest lifts, back, round the spine, elbows down and forward. 4 more times. Spine moving, and the exhale you can hollow out the abdomen. We'll go 1 more time in this direction, and then we'll start to reverse it. Elbows go back as the chest lifts and opens, and up, and then rounding and hollowing as the elbows come forward. 5 more times. Again, you don't have to overdo how big the movement is. How does the breath feel? How does the back and the shoulders feel today? How does the right shoulder feel compared to the left? One last time, and then let the hands come down, perhaps just to rest on the knees, just seeing how the shoulders feel. Can you relax them down a little bit away from the ears? I'm going to do another one that's really going to be about releasing tension in the arms and shoulders. So again, inhale, reach the arms up, keep the arms fairly soft and the shoulders relaxed. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hold them there for a couple of breaths. You can feel the strength building in the shoulders. And then on your next exhale, you're going to sigh out and flop the arms down and just take a resting breath. Take the arms up again. And if you find that a bit much, flopping the arms onto your legs, you can flop them down onto the ground. Inhale, reach the arms up, shoulders soften down. Inhale, spine lengthening. Feeling yourself reaching up, that upward moving energy. And then on your next exhale, sigh and relax the arms down. Take a resting breath. One more time. Inhale, reaching up. Reach, reach, reach. Spine long. Not a big arch, but a length in the spine. A lift through the crown of the head. Strong arms. On your next exhale, relax in the arms. So I'm just going to add to this series a little bit of neck release. That is traditionally how I was taught where the series ends, but I'm adding some neck movement, and then we'll move into the breathing practice. So just very gently with a nice long feeling. And if you've got the legs crossed, you might like to cross them in the other way. Nice long feeling in the neck, left ear to left shoulder. That's the exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Let's do that a couple more times each side. Soften your eyes. Soften the jaw. Soften the shoulders and arms and hands. Slow and easy. One more time each side. to center. And then imagining that you've got a mirror in front of you, maybe a fold up mirror. And just with the nose, you're going to draw some little circles with your nose on the mirror. So again, these don't have to be big movements. Just be really careful. You might find that you want to start making it just a little bit bigger. Let the breath be easy, and then just reverse the direction. You can close your eyes or soften the gaze, which will help you release the neck. Breath is easy. And then just bringing the head to center. Just to close that energy circuit before we move into the breathing practice, it could be nice to take the legs forward with very bent knees. Just rest the belly on the thighs and just into a very soft, supported forward bend. At the beginning of the practice, we started with that open energy circuit. We've moved energy around the body. Now we're closing the energy circuit so we can harness the effects, absorb the effects. Just staying here for a few more breaths, softening the joints, easy breath. One more breath there. And then as you feel ready, slowly coming up to a seated position. And this is where we will prepare for our breathing practice. So you might like to get a bit more height. You could do this absolutely seated on a chair, a couch, a bed. And there's many different ways that you can set up for breathing practice, and breathing practices in yoga are called pranayama. So prana, we've talked about being life force, so we're kind of working with prana through the breath. So you could sit cross-legged. Some people, I wanted to share this with you, some people find their knees start to feel, start to be aware of the knees after sitting for a moment. So if you want to, you could use blocks, cushions, pillows under the knees. It takes a bit of pressure out of the hips and the knee joints. So I encourage you to play with that. You could use tissue boxes, cushions, anything at all, or if you do have yoga blocks, they can be a thing to do. So just any little adjustments you want to make, whether you like cross-leg. Some people do like having one foot in front of the other. They're quite like that. It does help sort of the pelvis to tilt and the knees to come down, so that's something to play with. And you can alternate each time you do it, which foot goes in front. So yeah, please, and again, you can use some support. The main thing is, and this is all similar to meditation, that we're looking to be comfortable and having the spine upright. You could do it lying on your back though, if you're feeling that's going to be better for you today. So just rest your hands comfortably. You can soften the eyes or close the eyes. And firstly, just feeling a very natural breath, letting the belly be relaxed now. I'm going to be using our awareness, so visualizing the breath moving from the tailbone up to the crown of the head as you inhale. Exhale from the crown of the head all the way down to the pelvic floor. So go at a rhythm that works for you. Generally, it can be nice to have the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. We're not going to count the breath today. We're just aware of that can be a nice, that's how we naturally breathe. Smooth, subtle inhale. Smooth, complete exhale. So It's really about here, initially, creating a relationship with the breath. We don't need to over breathe. We don't want to be hungry for the breath. It's very subtle through the nose, as long as there's no congestion there. And then we're going to do what's called sun breath. We're going to be doing this in an imagined way today. So the sun breath is where we imagine that we're inhaling through the right nostril and exhaling through the left, which of course we're not actually doing. We are breathing through both, but we're harnessing the energy of the sun, inhaling to a comfortable rhythm through the right, exhaling left. And just do that a few more rounds. If you can, still keep the belly soft. Sun breath can be great for energizing a little bit. If you're feeling a bit flat or down, a couple more rounds at your rhythm, in through the right. If the mind wanders, perfectly normal. Just bring it back. Just one more time. Imagining in through the right, out through the left. And then just breathe comfortably for a moment. Now we're going to work with the moon breath, which is in through the left and out through the right. And this kind of has the other effect of being calming, cooling, and can be a wonderful thing sort of towards the end of the day or any time that you just feel that you need to calm a little bit. So let's now visualize the prana coming in through the left nostril and out through the right. In through the left, out through the right. Just a few more rounds, balancing us out, right and left, cool and warm, energizing and calming. A couple more rounds. Moon breath in left, out right. And just let go of the visualization now. Let the breath move freely through both nostrils. Maybe coming back to that feeling of the breath moving up the central channel from the base of the spine to the crown of the head on the inhale. Exhaling, just softening. A couple more rounds there, balancing the energies. And then just let the focus on the breath start to soften. Let the breath be completely passive and natural, spontaneous. Let the shoulders soft. Notice how you feel after the practice. The movement, the breathing, any residual effects. And let's take a deep breath in together. Scooping up that prana that we've moved, circulated, and taking it down to the mind, to the heart. Bowing the head to the heart. Closing now. Namaste.